Hello guys, welcome back to Surya Zone. So in today's video we are going to see the difference between CTE and Subquery. And before starting with this, I just wanted to remind you guys, like from next week Sunday we are going to start the 50-day SQL challenge where we are going to solve problems that are in lead code. So trust me guys, and that is not like other YouTube channels that has the SQL challenge. I am not only going to solve the problem, I'm going to explain the code as well on how it is working. Okay, so it will be very much helpful for you guys, and you don't want to pay any single paisa for SQL course. That is what my expectation to create that series is. Okay, cool. Now let's start with the difference between CTE and subquery. Actually, I have already prepared the query and all because this is a huge concept and it will take some time to explain if I write a query while explaining. That's why I have prepared everything in prior. Okay, so let's say before starting into how it is exactly working, I will just give you guys the theoretical explanation of what is subquery and what a city is. Okay, a subquery is nothing but a query nested within another SQL query. Okay, that is what a subquery mean, and there are different kind of subqueries which we will see in upcoming in a while. So we will you guys will get more understanding of that. Okay, cool. And then next thing is we can use the subquery within select statement, update statement, insert statement, and delete statement. Okay. Then next thing is CTE. CTE, the full form of CTE is common table expression, and it defines what to say. We can write multiple CTEs for a particular result to get a particular result. But whenever we are writing a first CTE, we have to use the with class, and for the next CTE in the same query, we don't need a what to say. We don't need a with the class. We don't want to use this with the class. Okay, and each CTE should get separate with the comma syntax. Okay, I will show you the syntax as well. No worries. And the CTE is a kind of temporary table, but what to say, when we go during the call or when we are referencing the CTE, then only it will run the code and then it will generate the result. Okay, we can call the CTE to get the results. And the next thing is CTE should be upfront before calling or referencing them. So whenever we are calling the CTE, it should be upfront whenever we are trying to return or when you are trying to get any data from a CTE. Okay, and then this CTE can be used in the place of complex requirements or queries when we have nested queries where it required multiple joins or multiple nested kind of recursive kind of thing. Then we can use this CTE in place. And this CTE will be more readability when compared to subquery, and it is helping us to debug faster to resolve an issue if anything that got failed. And you guys will understood now only what is how CT is more efficient in terms of debugging it. Okay, I'll show you that as well. I mean, I'm not going in depth, but by seeing the syntax of subquery and CTE only, you will get understood. Okay, and then the CTE also can be used with select, update, and insert and delete. Okay, cool. And then the next thing is the subquery. So I have prepared some example for subquery and I have prepared some example for CTE. Okay, so this subquery will return some result like category, application, clothing, electronics, furniture, right? So the CTE also will return the same result. Okay, just a moment. So if you see, the CTE is also returning the same result. If you want, I can run both of the things at the same time. Cool. The first query was first is returned by subquery, and then the second is returned by CT. Okay. So I want you guys to just pause the video here and try to understand what is written in this particular SQL query. No worries, but I will explain. But for more understanding, I'm requesting you to pause here to understood what is happening behind the scenes, or how the code flow is, or how the query has written here. Okay. Cool. Then the next thing is CTE. So the CTE also given the same result, but I will explain how the CTE is working. I just want you guys to pass here as well and compare the data between or compare the queries that we have written for subquery and CTE. Okay, cool. So now let's dive into this subquery uh, on how it is working. Okay, so let's say here I have two subqueries that is called as inline subqueries when we are using subquery in from class. So whenever you are using a subquery in the from class, inside the from class, instead of using the actual table name or view name, that is called as inline subquery. And we can use this multiple subqueries also. This is a kind of nested subquery. Okay, so here what we are doing is we are just taking the count of subcategory based on category in this particular query. And then in the outer query, what we are doing is actually whenever we are writing a subquery in SQL Server, we have to alias that name for further changes, okay, or for further filtration. Okay, so then only it will work, otherwise it will throw an error. Okay, then what we are doing here is, so what this particular query is doing is, it is filtering the data wherever the count of subcategory for a particular category is greater than 5. So if I run this, you will understood. Like, let me take it up. Yeah, so here if you see, we have got around 4 categories, for which the subcategory is greater than 5. Like the total count of subcategory is greater than 5. Okay, and then the next thing is we have written the one more outer query, which is this one, for which the subquery is this entire thing. So we are aliasing this entire thing as yes, and we are joining that with the tbo.product, I mean the actual table again, based on the category column, because this also has categories, this also categories. And then we are finding the total price. Okay, total price based on the category, uh, where my count of subcategory is greater than 5, based on for each categories. Okay, so I hope you guys understood the requirement, or you guys understood the problem statement. Actually, this don't consider the problem statement here, because this is a simple problem statement which can be used by simple query. But to explain how this nested subqueries are working and how much complex things are here, like multiple from, and then inner join again and again, and if something goes wrong in this query, it will take some time to debug it, right? So I just wanted to explain that point, so that's why I have written a query in this way. Okay, cool. And then the same query is written in a CTE also, but when we see the CTE query, it will be very simple. So what we are doing is, we are saying like, take the count of subcategory based on category and store that result in a particular CTE called CTE1. And then we are adding a one more CTE by adding a comma here, and then CTE2 as select distinct category from CTE1 where my count of subcategory is greater than 5. Okay, so this will have all the categories which subcategories are greater than 5, right? And the next what we are doing is, then we are doing the final join with our final table based on category, and from the final table, or from the main table, actual table, we are doing the sum of price, and then we are grouping it based on category, and it will give the price based on each category for the subcategories which are greater than 5, subcategories count which are greater than 5. I hope you guys are clear with the CTE as well. But I know, like, the CTE would be most simple when it comes to this particular subquery. So if something goes wrong in the CTE, we can particularly check whether this query is having some issue, or this query is having some issue, or this part is having some issue. Like that, we can segregate the code, and to maintain it in the repo or to debug it will be very easier. So that's why I mentioned that to debug CTE, it will be very easier, as it is having multiple parts containing a data to debug it, and also to verify it easily. Okay, so whenever we are writing a complex query, it is better to use the CTE to just to improve the performance in terms of what to say, to improve the performance, or to improve the code efficiency and maintenance. Okay, it will be very helpful more than subquery. Cool. And the next thing is, in subquery I mentioned, right, there are some types of subqueries like that. So in which one of the type is scalar subquery. Scalar subquery is nothing but it will return a scalar value, which means a subquery that returns single row and single column. Okay, let's say here this piece of code is there, right? Select star from dbo.product where price is equal to select max of price from dbo.product. So this is nothing but a scalar subquery. So here it is giving us a single row and single column. Okay, and when we run this whole query, it will return that particular price only, where this price is returning na. So price is 999 and this particular row. Okay, and then one more example for scalar subquery is, we can write the select statement while selecting the data from some other table as well. But here, while you are providing the scalar subquery, you make sure you are enclosing it with brace. Okay, otherwise it will throw one error. Okay, So this will also will give us the maximum price of a particular product. I mean, not particular product, the maximum price that is available in the entire product table. Okay, so this can be asked in some of the interview questions like select the maximum price without using a window function for a particular product and include all other columns as well. Like that, we can expect a question. Then during the time, we can use the scalar subquery kind of thing to solve that particular problem. And then the next thing is multiple row and nested subqueries. So this is nothing but the scalar subquery will return a single row and single column, right? But this multiple row is nothing but it will return multiple row in a single column, and that we can match it with our outer query to get the data, actual data. So let's say this is my outer query and this is my subquery, right? So in this subquery, select distinct category from product. It will return us multiple subqueries. But here we are adding one more subquery. So this is called as nested subquery. So this is our outer query and this is our first subquery and this is our next subquery, right? So here what we are doing is, so this will give us the distinct product that is available in dbo.product, and this particular query will give us the top 3 product ID based on the order by class that we have specified here, order by product ID in an ascending order. So if I execute that, it will have 1001 and 1003. So if I run this entire code, it will return a category electronics. Okay, it is returning the category as electronics, which means this 3 product IDs, top 3 product IDs categories are category. So I want to see only the data based on the top 3 product IDs that we are specifying here for all other columns. Okay, so if we run this entire piece of code now, it will return us all the data whose category is electronics. Okay, because here in this particular join we are not specifically going with any product ID like that, but it just a category that we are selecting based on top 3 product. Okay, and here also don't focus on the problem statement which I'm saying, just focus on the query, how the nested queries and subqueries or multiple row queries are working. Okay, the main motto is that particular thing only. Okay, cool. And then the next thing is correlated subquery. So correlated subquery is nothing but a query, a subquery which refer one or more column from the outer query. So it is dependent on outer query where subquery is not dependent. So what this means is, let's say here this particular piece is a subquery, right, which is independent. Like I can run this query without any issue, this subquery. But what this correlated query will do is, if I write a correlated subquery, it needs to be run as a whole. Whenever this outer query is running, then only the inner query also will be run. Inner query here I am referring to subquery only. I mean correlated subquery only. So subquery, just a moment, guys. Yeah. So why I am saying is this correlated subquery will use one or more column from the outer query, right? Which means I will show you the example right away. So here if you see, select distinct category and subcategory from a product table, and we are selecting all the category and subcategory whose price is greater than average price of a product. So here we are not only considering like this piece of code will run like the average price of product per product is this one, but if I run the entire query, it will not run. It will throw an error, because if you see the multi-part identifier, p dot category could not be bound. Okay, that is because this p dot category is a column that is from the outer query. Okay, similarly p dot subcategory is a column that is from the outer query. So if we run this entire query, it will compare the category that is present in the inside subquery, which is inside query is nothing but the subquery, with our outer query. Okay, so for each category it will compare it with the each subcategory that is inside the subquery. Okay, and it is returning the category and subcategory column accordingly. Okay, I hope you guys understood this correlated subquery. It will take some time also, so I'm requesting you to just pass and analyze the query that we have written here. Okay, similarly this subquery, like similarly this subcategory, actually this is nothing but we are taking the average price based on each category column and subcategory column. Okay, I hope you guys are understood. Like, this is nothing but the average of price, like we will write is average over partition by category and subcategory we will do, right? Like that, actually this is. So this is a kind of it will generate the values based on like this. But when we are adding category here, it will just check for all the categories inside the subquery. Like if I have one category here, let me run this piece of code. So if I have one category here, accessories, so this accessories will join with all other categories that is present in my inner query, and then whenever there is a match, then only it will then only it will take the average price, and then it will compare it with the outer query. I hope you guys understood now. Okay, so this is just for the reference I have written. Cool. I'm running this now. Yeah, it's this is what guys, like the correlated subqueries, and the final concept is recursive CTE. So by the name itself, I hope you guys will understood, but when it comes to SQL query, it will be difficult for everyone to understood the recursive CTE. But no worries, I have created a simple query to understood how this recursive CTE is working and what is the importance of that, until you will be able to understood. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are defining a CTE as, and we are making select one as RN rank, and we are doing union all. Okay, union all, and then select r1 rn plus 1, which is 1 plus 1 2 from this CTE, actual CTE. Okay, and then next what we are doing is 2. So what it will happen is select 1 as rn. Okay, 1 will come, union all, 1 plus 1 2 from the again the same CTE, calling the same CTE again 2, and before that here it will come to like check 1, 1 is less than 20, so it will come here 1 plus 1 2, so that will get union and it will go to CTE again. Okay, and then the next thing is 3, so it will generate the values from 1 to 20. So if I run this piece of code, it will generate 1 to 20. Okay, so here not only a number, we can specify a date, like let's say current date, and for the next 20 days I have to generate the sequence of date. So that also we can do it using this recursive CTE. And if there are any specific business requirement, we can make use of this recursive CTE. Okay, I hope you guys are clear. Next thing is, like, let's see the final thing of when to use subquery and when to use CTE, and which will be better when it comes to performance and all. So if you ask me, CTE can be performed better if we return the logic in a right way. But because even if we write, even if the data volume is huge, and if the queries are nested in subquery, which we are trying to do the same thing in CTE, sometimes CTE may also make a delay. But CTE is the CTE can perform better, that is more than subquery. Okay, but it depends on databases as well, on which database we are using. Okay, so this is what in terms of performance related. And when we have to use subqueries, when our logic needs to be performed, or when we have a single or one time operations, okay, during that time we can make use of subquery. Or when the logic does not require any nested queries, when you have only a single query or scalar query kind of thing, or multi-row kind of thing, then multi-row query kind of thing, then you can make use of the subquery. Otherwise, please go with CTE. That is what my suggestion would be. Because when we have to use CTE is when we have a complex logic, and when we need to reference same set of result multiple times. Let's say we have two CTEs in place, and we have to join the two CTEs once again to get the final result, and we have to order it based on some other CTE again using the same CTE which we have prepared before. So those kind of things we can use the CTE. And when there is a logic or requires any recursive operations, like I here mentioned, right, any particular date which we need to build the data combinations. So in those places and all, we might wanted to use the recursive CTE. Okay, so I want you guys to pass the videos and analyze the query. Wherever you are having any doubts, please do let me know in the comments. I will explain you guys over a chat for sure. And let me know if you have anything else that I have missed in terms of subquery and CTE. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. I hope this video is clear, and we have completed most of the things. And please share it and subscribe it. Uh, it will motivate me to create more quality contents. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. Bye bye. See you later.